Podium the light time on it. Might set చేస్తాడు అద్దాలు సెట్ చేస్తాడు మైక్ సెట్ చేస్తాడు చూడు
sponsors, that's how you make money. That's not even as everybody. Everybody, all of us are that's a unique source.
పైన థర్డ్ ఫ్లోర్ లో కాఫీ అవైలబుల్ ఉందా లైక్ కప్ కాఫీ ఆగి రావాలి
Good evening, everyone. That group to settle down.
Podium light डालो
E-light? Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Podium light है. Podium light. Podium.
Somebody mentioned my name, Ravi Warrior. I'm happy to be here.
Closed.
right? I'm happy to be here. Okay, so quickly, how many of you have Instagram? Instagram, okay. I want you to whip out your phones. Okay, start recording. Okay, I'll tell you in a bit why. Just take out your phone, start your video app, and be ready for recording. I'll tell you why in a minute. Okay, so a little about me before we begin. My name is Ravi, and I'm the founder of Funding Fishcraft, and I'm the creator of something called Impress Every Investor. Right? And me and my team, what we do is we help startup founders, okay, nail every investor interaction. So all the way from your cold emails to your investor meetings, we work with startup founders and help them pitch their ideas better, talk about their ideas better, and stuff like that. So, okay, why do I need you to have your Instagram on? Because anybody and everybody who records, posts on Instagram and tags Funding Fishcraft will get a free gift. Right? What is that free gift? It's that book. Okay? There's a book that I've written called Impress Every Investor. If you tag Funding Fishcraft, you get that free book. So I want anybody who has an Instagram account, start recording. Okay, make sure that at least I come in the profile. I mean, that'd be nice. But if I can't come in the profile, it'll be too far off, not a problem. So scan that QR code if you can. If you can't, just search for Funding Fishcraft and you'll find my Instagram. Okay. Now let's start. So we had a panel before this of esteemed people, and we were speaking about investor mindset, right? And that is important to know, obviously, for the reason of impressing. But there is a lot more that goes into impressing investors, right? The first thing the previous panel spoke about, which is getting to know your investors, right? How they think, why they think the way they think, what are their investors? Okay, what are the risks, fears, motivations, drives? You need to know all this before you can go and sell something to them, right? The second thing is what we're going to talk about. Now, the reason why I'm only going to talk about one thing out of everything is because you don't have time. Normally, I would do this as a 3-day training session or a 7-day workshop. We just have 40 minutes. So what we're going to talk about is defining value proposition. Now, some of the panel members were talking about how you sell, what you sell, and how you convince investors, right? So defining a value proposition, if you name this amongst everything else, you can probably take 4 steps ahead rather than just one. Are we clear so far? Any questions? Any questions? No. Okay. So, what is value proposition? Value proposition is just simply an exchange of value for some other value. In this case, it's either time, money, or effort. Right? So it's let me take an example. I said, I will give you a free book for your videos tagging me, right? That's a value proposition. I am giving you some value for something in return. Yeah, I don't know how you. I can see you again. Okay. Okay. So I'm giving you a free book for something in return, right? Same way, when you go to investors, you're giving a piece of your company for their money. When I stand in class, let's say I didn't have a free book and I requested all of you to come and attend some class of mine, you are giving your time for something that I have to teach, right? So that's value proposition. You are proposing an exchange for something against something. Clear so far? In case of startups and investments, it's your startup. It's a piece of your company. And mind you, remember this, you are selling a piece of your company. Nobody's giving you a loan. Nobody's doing it temporarily. You are literally selling a piece of your company to an investor. So you're saying, here, this is my company. Here's a piece of it. I want X for it. Right? Now, obviously, it works when you have a perception of value. So, for example, let's say I was just another student like you, and I went to a investor, let's say like Ratnakar, and said, Ratnakar, invest in my company. I'll give 10%, give me 5%. Do you think Ratnakar is going to agree? not outright, right? He needs to know, is my 10% in the company, is the 10% of my company worth is 5 crores? If not, he's not going to buy. So there has to be an agreed upon perception of that. Clear so far? Yes, no? Can I get a yes if it's clear? Yes, good, okay. So, right, sorry, I just mentioned that. It's about an agreed upon perception of that. Okay, so now what is the word? What do you mean by word, right? And in case of startup, this holds true. It is basically the sum of parts. Your past, your present, and your future. Okay? So what does past mean? It means who you are, where did you come from, what did you do so far, right? What did you do this point? So if you say, I am a student of IPE, right? I am an MBA student of IPE, right? That holds value. So I am 21 years old, I'm a student, I graduated, at top of my class, okay? I'm passionate about cricket, I'm passionate about making money, blah, blah, blah. Who you are, so that's your past. The second thing that is important is your present. What are you doing today? Okay, in case the slides don't change, it's like wave out and change, but in case it doesn't, it's like, okay, so what are you doing? Whom are you doing it for? Right? Why are you doing it? That's important. So if you go to a investor and say, hi, I am an IPE student. Okay, I am a topper in my class. I have this idea. Okay, so that was your past. I have this idea and I want to do X, right? Because of this reason. There are 10 million people who need this product or have this problem, and I am trying to solve it. Okay, so what are you doing? Whom are you doing it for? And why are you doing it? Why you? Why you and your co-founders? Why you and your team? That's very important. Okay, so and then you have the future. Where will this go? What is the potential? When can I make my money back? That is all important. Now, if you present your past, present, and future together as a package, and it has solid elements to it, okay, investors will be interested. Reason why we are rarely impressed is because the value proposition that you are putting forth, the proposal of exchange of a piece of your company for their money, the perceived value or perceived worth of it is not enough. They don't think that 10% is worth it, or 5% or 15%, whatever your opinion is, right? That's what they think. And that's what they need to know. Your past, present, and future to determine what is the worth of your startup. Now, one of the questions was valuation. Some guy out there asked, right? That's based on your future. Right? And Ratnakar mentioned, they use DCF, discounted cash flow. So they're taking, okay, so today and 5 years from now, what sale can you make? Right? What's the discounted value of that? And so you're saying, okay, if I make this kind of sale over 5 years, my company is going to be worth 100 crores in 5 years. Right? And whatever the discounted percentage is, today my company is worth that. So that's how you normally do it. So let's say you're growing and it becomes 10 years and your discounted percentage is something that gives you a valuation of 5 crores today. That's your valuation today, right? But what is it based on? It's based on your future. You have to talk about it. Now, one of the things that I talk about when I talk about understanding investor mindset, this is the story I go with, right? This is the mental exercise I go with. Thought experiment. Okay, so imagine I'm a stranger. None of you know me except for people here and there. None of you know me, right? So I catch you in the corridor, right? There's some big conference happening, and I catch you in the middle of the corridor, and I say, "Hello, sir. My name is old man. My name is Ravi. I have a startup. Okay, please invest in me." What is your first question going to be? Anybody? What's your first question? Who are you? Right? Two quantity. So if a stranger is coming to you and saying, give me your money, you're like, who are you? I say, sir, I'm Ravi, I'm a student of IT, I'm a topper of my class, Falana Dikana, and this is my startup idea, blah, 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 blah. What's your next question?
What type?
Okay, so I tell you about it. Then, okay, so she's thinking, okay, what should I do with this information? Credible data, right? So let's make it a little simpler. I come in and I say, I want to open a chai stall outside IT. I want 1 lakh rupees. Give me 1 lakh rupees. First question will be like, who are you? I say, I'm chai wala. Babu chai wala. I am world famous in, Shamirpet. So you say, okay, fine. Idea bata. So I say, chai stall khulunga. There are thousands of students in IT, and they all have to have chai, and the canteen chai sucks. Okay, or they have the machine chai and like sucks. So they all have to come to my chai company to have chai. Okay, so मैं chai stall खोलूँ. हजारों बच्चों को चाय पिलाऊंगा. दिन में 5 चाय पीते बच्चे. Exam time में तो 10 पीते हैं. Okay, so give me money. What's your next question? Why money? Okay, so जो बाबूराम है मेरे बगल में रहता है, वो अपना ठेला बेचता है 50,000. तो 50,000 में ठेला खरीदूंगा. फिर शो वो खरीदना है, लाइट वाइट लगानी है, बैटरी लगानी है, वो सब मिला के 80,000 हो रहा है. ओके, और फिर चाय पत्ती 1 महीने का खर्चा 6 महीने के लिए आई दूध के लिए, तो वहां पे और 20,000 हो गए और 10,000 मेरे खुद के लिए चाहिए. तो एक तरफ 1 लाख. क्या बड़ा Will you give me 1 lakh rupees now? No. How are you returning back? Okay, so पैसे वापस कब मिलेंगे? सर 6 महीने में आपके पैसे गारंटी 1.5 तक का, right? 1.5 times I will be back. Because क्यों? 1000 बच्चे, 5 चाय, 10-10 रुपए की चाय, सर आप कैलकुलेट करो कितने होते हैं, right? So, will you give me? Yes, sir. Time is English is okay. So, are you going to give me money? You sure you're going to give me money? I was that convincing about the chickens. But my name is not Babu. Okay, so it's a little more complicated than this. Even though you guys are, I guess, you're gullible and that's why you're giving money, but investors are not that gullible. Right, so if you say, "मैं Babu chai wala and I'm going to open a tea stall and this is okay," nobody's going to believe you. You mentioned something called trust, credibility. Yeah. Right now, as students, as 20-year-old somethings, you have 0 credit score. I'm not talking about financial score. Okay, I'm not talking about the bank gives you. That might be 500, 600, 700. Nobody cares about that. It could be like 900 out of 900. I don't even know if 900 is the top, but let's assume 900 is the top score and you have 900 out of 900. Okay, two investors care about that. Check credit card credit. Don't come to me with that credit score, right? So you have no credibility. So how do you build credibility as a 20-year-old something with a new idea, no experience? Any ideas? How are you going to build credibility? How? Any ideas? I think okay, right. No idea. Huh? Proof of work, proof of concept, make a demo, show a demo, and do all that. Right. Okay? But you're forgetting, you met me outside in the corridor, you have to say, sir, give me 5 minutes of your time. Right? If I give you 5 minutes of your time, you can show me a demo, but you have to first sell me. Okay, again, what did I say? Value of exchange, right? So you don't get enough information worth 9 minutes of my time. You have to convince me on that. Okay, remember this. If nothing else you remember from today or from my speech, right? Remember this, and it will help you a lot in your life. Every conversation, every relationship is transaction. Right? There is a give and take. It may not be transactional in a monetary sense, but it is transactional. Right? I am here to get something out of you. You are here to get something out of me and the other speakers. They're not here out of the goodness of your heart. Ravi's gonna feel bad if the auditorium's empty. Let's go fill it up. Right? If that's what you felt, I'm sure there will be more people sitting here than the number of people that are there. Right? And I'm not here because I'm but like put us No, I'm here because I'm promoting certain things. I want to meet new people and hopefully onboard some of you as my customers and clients or something. That's my end goal. Right? Some of you at some point in the next 6 months to 1 year may require my services, may require my books, may require my toolkits. And if you know me or if you see me talk, you say, okay, you know what, I need help. I can think of one person I can go to. That's how I make money. Right? Third, it's transaction. When you talk to a friend, when you talk to somebody, you are talking to them because you want something. And they are listening to you because they want something. Right? Maybe it's continued friendship. Okay, if I don't listen to you, you're gonna root for and you're not gonna be my friend. So just to keep your friendship, I'm going to listen to you. It's still transaction. So if you take that principle, now you and an investor, there is nothing but transaction. Especially between strangers. There's no engagement of any kind. Right? And you need to show that worth. Propose a certain extent. Getting it so far? Any questions? Any questions? Last one, backbenchers. It's always funny to see when you say backbenchers, everybody pops up. Right. So, if some of your past, present, and future tell the investor whether you're worth it. Let me give you one more example, just a quick one. Let's say you invest shabby, right? And you go and ask for 1 crore rupees. Do you think you can do worth 1 crore rupees? Right? I see a lot of founders, especially in my coaching and training, they'll come for demo day, wearing chappals, jeans, t-shirt, asking for like 5 crores. Then they look as if you can handle 5 crores. Then ask for 5 crores. Right? So you look like a chappal. Nobody's going to give you 5 crores. Right? So there are a lot of things that add to your worth, and you have to work on everything. Clear? Okay. So I'm actually done, but I want to talk about 2 more things, right? So one more thing I want to talk about is the next thing that you would need to do to impress investors, and that is your story. People don't buy facts and figures. They don't buy based on facts and figures. When was the last time you bought a phone or let's say earpods? Okay, let's take the example of earpods. Kids got to go to 12 and then driver. Did you buy your earpods or earphones or headphones because it had a 12 and then driver? Most of you don't even know it had a 12 and then driver, right? It got like 12, minus 12 dB to minus 30 dB ANC. Did you buy because of that? Yeah? Did you? Anybody bought because of specs? Who you bought because of specs? You're all engineers there. You're an engineer? Okay, that's a great thing to have, right? Okay, so my question to you is this. You have 2 earphones, okay? One pink, and that also not like the nice pink that guys can carry out. Okay, like something that will only suit a supermodel from Russia. Pink, right? Okay, right? And then you have a black. Pink one was better in terms of specs, but the black one suits you more. Which one will you buy? Pink one. Okay, I'm just putting my leg. No, actually. Okay, fine. You are an exception to it. But normally, would you buy something that looks good on you, or would you buy something that's better, even if it doesn't look good on you? Mostly you'll buy something like that, right? The example that I gave is about a Eureka Forbes salesman. Nowadays, you don't see many, but when I was younger in Bombay, we had a lot of Eureka Forbes guys come. Some may like to be memories, right? And I noticed one thing very early in my life. It depends on who they're talking to. If they're talking to my dad, They will talk about RPM. They will talk about capacity, 3 liter capacity per dust, right? Very smooth, noiseless, all that stuff, facts and figures. If I talk to my mom, they don't talk facts and figures. आपके बच्चे सांस ले पाएंगे, right? If you have grandkids, they can crawl on the floor, and you need not be worried about they catching illness or germs or diseases, right? So this is how we set it. Now, remember we spoke about work. Now, your work is different to different people. For your parents, mera beta ladla, or baby ladla. For dads, the daughter is more precious. For mom, boys are precious. For some reason, I don't know why. Mom, not too crazy. But yeah. So your work is very different to different people. For your best friend, your work is different than somebody who you just met in the train. Your parents value you more. Okay, your grandparents probably value you even more than your parents. Right? The same goes for investors. There are certain investors who wouldn't give 2 shits about it because they're not interested for multiple reasons. Maybe it's the industry that this is them. They're not interested in the industry. So I'm from clean tech. Sorry, I clean tech and invest in the company. Hey, but एकदम brilliant idea. I don't invest in clean tech. What are you going to do? Right? So either that, or you might like a chapter, a faster one. So there are reasons why people will say no, and mainly comes down to your worth. And now you have to sell your worth, and you have to understand the reason why there was a previous panel conversation is because you have to understand who you're speaking to. Is Papa sitting in front of you, or is Mommy sitting in front of you? Now, for different kinds of investors, there are investors who are aggressive. There are investors who are cautious. There are investors who are, really ambitious. There are investors who have FOMO, right? So who are you talking to? And you have to change your story in a way that helps them understand your worth. If you go to the same story, okay, so you guys are students, you have a career cell here, placement cell, right? Did you have a talk where somebody came and said, told you how to make your resumes, CVs? Yes? No? Okay. So if you have such a talk, one of the common tips they give you is modify your CV based on where you're applying, right? एक CV सब जगह नहीं चलता है. Same way, एक deck सब जगह नहीं चलता है. If you go with the same story to every investor, you're not going to impress anything. Here's another thing which I tell people. Let's say you're doing demo day, right? So let's say CIE or IT or somebody is doing a demo day and they invite 30-50 people in the audience. Okay? You have to talk to only 5. 45 are there because they have to be. Right? 45 are there, but they're not interested. They're interested in somebody else. Or they heard of it because they saw the campaigns. I should probably listen to what these guys have to say. Yeah. So there's a 5 people. Tailor your pitch to those 5 people, because those 5 people, if they're interested in you, they will come and talk to you. Don't try to impress 45 people. You're not going to do it. Tailor your pitch. Tailor your narrative. On what? On who your investors are. Papa hai ya mummy hai? Then you sell your Eureka form factor. Don't sell it generic. Clear? Okay. So, TLDR, since all of you are probably millennials or Gen Zs. 1, you have to show work. If you don't show work, you're not going to even get noticed. 2, what is your work? It's a sum of your past, present, right? It's a sum of your past, present. And 3, you have to tailor your narrative to bring out the best work to the right people. These guys, the previous panelists, they spoke about identifying the right investor, find those right investors and keep them. right? You are not going to sell a Maruti car to Ambani. If सामने वाला अंबानी है, तो जाके उसको मारुति मत बेचो. Go to a guy who's going to buy a Maruti. Yeah. So what is their investment thesis? How much do they invest? If they invest in मेरे को 10 crore के नीचे invest नहीं करता. तो मेरे लिए pocket change. Sir, I need 10 lakhs. What do you think they're going to say to you? Simple, right? They want to see 10 crore investment. They don't want to see 10 lakh investment. So why are you going to tell them? Okay, yeah, I have Kalari Capital on my, like in my list of contacting people. But Kalari Capital does not give two shits about it. Why are you even wasting time trying to talk to somebody at Kalari Capital? I'm not saying Kalari Capital is bad, they're really good, but they have their own priorities, right? So find your investor, find your worth, write a story about why you're worth it, and then tell that story to the right investor. Clear so far? That's a model of the story. End of session. Am I done in 45 minutes? Do I have more time? No, okay. Until something comes towards the other stage, I'll continue to talk. Right? Arundhati Chilaki. Right? That's all. Like stage right? Right. Okay. Right. So we have time. I'm done with it. What I'll just do is for those who couldn't stand before, I'll leave it on the screen. Okay. So if you've recorded any videos, taken any photos, tag me. Okay. You get that free book. It's about 150 pages. It talks about everything and more of what I've spoken today. Right. Since we have time, any questions? Yes. If you can just start, because by the time he comes, I will fall asleep. You don't need to stand, but anyway.
Mike.
Can have like a startup
Wait.
plan based on time, like 6 months, like phases, 4 phases. How do I tell you, or like how do I take the input from him for that?
Okay, so you're saying you have a startup idea which will take 6 months or 4 phases to execute. Yes. Okay. So investors, first of all, even whatever they invest in you, they're not going to give you all the money upfront, right? In investment parlance, it's called tranches, right? TRANCHE, tranche. So even if you want 1 crore, you're not going to sign a check for 1 crore first. They're going to give you 20 lakhs based on some milestones and performances that you both have agreed upon. Then they'll release another check of 20 lakhs. Those milestones, then they'll release another check of 30 lakhs, and then another of 30 lakhs. You don't have to say that मुझे 6 महीने पैसे चाहिए. वो लोग ऐसे भी 6 महीने ही देंगे. Right? So you have to say, okay, this runway is for 24 months. But in the first 6 months I'm going to do this. In the next 6 months I'm going to do this. And so on and so forth. But for this, I need this much money. For this, I need this much money. For this, I need this much money. So they have to go with plan. This is another myth, right? Investors are not sitting on money. They come out with money. That's right? They have to plan that as well. कहाँ से निकालना है? कौन सा FD तोड़ना है? Not that they तोड़ो FD, but just for us common folks, let's say, उनको FD तोड़ के फिर तुम्हारी कंपनी में लगा. So if you tell them 6 months in advance, yeah, I will need this money 30 lakhs 6 months from now, they can start arranging for it. Right? If they can't, they have time to tell you. They're not going to tell you, "Arey, very fast message." They can actually, tell them 6 months in advance, and they will also oblige and say 2 months in advance, and you know what? Thoda delay hoega. Right? So you don't need to worry about telling them 6 महीने पैसे दो, वो ऐसे भी नहीं. 6 महीने ही देंगे. Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
What are the other elements that we need to inculcate in our system, act for? Other than having it form of past, present, and future, what are the other elements that we need to have it in there?
Okay, good question. So the past, present, and future is just for your story. It's not like I have a pitch deck with 3 slides, past, present, future. Now that's not going to work, right? A pitch deck has to have certain number of slides. It starts with your introduction. Then a typical, if you just Google pitch deck slides, right? This is what you get. You get introduction, you get problem statement, you get solution, you get potential, market potential, you get traction, you get team, you get financials, you get ask, and then you have thank you and blah blah. Right? So these are what you need to have. All this tells the story of your past, present, and future. Right? So the team, who are we? I'm an IIT student, I'm an IBM student, and blah 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 blah. That's that. What problem are we solving? How are we solving it? Why are we solving it? Right? What's the future? This is the market potential. Time, song, nonsense. So that's it. This market is $500 billion globally, according to Gartner. That's your future. Right? So the past, present, future is just broad categories. You have to follow the slide. But here's one thing. You don't have to follow the slides in the same way. What I do in my coaching and training is I tell people the same slides, okay, the same parameters, identify your strengths. What if you were an IIT, IIM, MIT, Harvard student, right? Like all four colleges. Right? And your co-founder is similar. According to the slide order, team comes last. Tab people are going to go. Right? Why not start with your team first? Okay, none of you will have 30 years experience, but there are a lot of startup founders who have 30 years experience. Right? That's the strength. I have 30 years running a business experience. So that slide order is not fixed in stone. Start with your strength. Let's say your problem is amazing. Right? Out of 8 billion people in the world, 7.5 billion people face that problem. Start with the problem. Let's say only 1 billion people face that problem, but the solution that you're making, okay, is 10 times better than your competitors. Start with the solution. We are making vacuum cleaners, which is 10 times better than Eureka pots. Why? Because 1 billion people need it. Why? Because they have this problem. You see, solution first, then problem. Then market potential. So you can play around with it. Find your strength and then
Another question that I have is,
go ahead.
if an investor comes in on the board and investor for some money, and if the startup founder requires more money, so the investor would put in more money, not taking more percentage of the company. Can that happen? Or does that happen?
No. Okay. More money, you sell more.
Yeah.
It's like you go in your petrol pump and saying 10 liter there. And then you realize that, hey, मेरा घर 10 kilometer और 8 liter free में दे, कोई नहीं देगा.
Yeah, my rationale was investor is also partner in the company, right?
No. They're not your partners, right? Okay, so this is when I did my MBA and I did a module in entrepreneurship, right? So my professor walks in, we are all sitting in a class of some 10 to 15 students, and he walks in, and the first thing he writes on the board is, you know what? The day you take investments is the day you sold your company. Doesn't matter whether for 1% or 10% or 50%. The day you take investments is the day you sold your company. Because imagine this, you have an investor, he gives you 10 lakh rupees for 1%. Okay? कल उठ के बोलेगा मेरा 10 लाख रुपए वापस लीजिए. What are you going to say? No. You own 99%. मैं तो 99% ओनर हूँ. मेरी चलनी चाहिए. नहीं, तेरी नहीं चलेगी. इसकी 8% की चलेगी. Right? If he says यहाँ पे चाय मत बेच, वहाँ पे बेचो. मैं 99% ओनर हूँ. Sorry, I'm telling you, move your stall there. This 1% is infinitely stronger than the 99%. So the day you take investment is the day you sold your company. So they are basically your owners, they are not your partners. Some may be nice owners, like nice landlords who don't poke in every now and then say, party chala hai, party chala hai. They come once a year and look around and stuff. And there will be some people who come every day to see whether you're like made a ruckus or not. But they are owners. Shareholders are owners of the company. They're not partners. You own Tata stock, you are the owner for that piece of Tata. You're not Tata's partner. Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions? Yes. Try shouting if okay.
Hello, sir. First of all,
Hello.
sir, our company is in initial stage. How can I convince the investor to invest in my company, and how the investors will estimate my potential? And I want to know these things.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, 45 minutes wasn't enough, and definitely 3 minutes is not going to be enough. But I'll try and answer your question. It again boils down to, okay, let me answer that question using an analogy, right? You studied in college, there's some pretty girl or pretty guy, you like somebody, right? And you want to put out. But मेरे पास ना अभी पैसा है, ना बंगला है, ना गाड़ी है, ना जॉब है, ना कुछ है. How do you put out?
बातों से,
right? Same thing, right? You have no traction, you have no experience, you have no job, no bangla, no गाड़ी. मेरे पास माँ है, माँ से कुछ नहीं है, right? Nobody will want to invest in your company because you have माँ. So that's how you do it. How do you put out?
like बातों से.
You tell stories, you engage them, you provide value to them, right? So this is what I call a birdie dance, right? And almost the girls listen up, this is for you, right? Almost every species in the world, the male does the birdie dance. They will woo the woman, except for humans, right? For some reason, you girls have given up your God-given right to make a guy dance around you for hours at ends to put up. So please. So if you're trying to put out a girl, you have to do the birdie dance, right? You have to be nice, you have to listen, you have to buy her flowers, you have to take her out, you have to, be there when she needs you, right? You have to confide in her, you have to show you're vulnerable, blah, 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 lots of things as birdie dance. You have to do all that. The same way, there are certain things investors need. You have to do your birdie dance for them, right? But just like you're not going to do a birdie dance for every girl, you're not going to start doing that, right? You do that only for one girl or one guy, right? You're going to only do that for one girl or guy. You do that only for one investor. You start doing birdie dance for 100 investors, in पूरी जिंदगी birdie dance करते रहो. That is what happens to most startups. So almost 5% startups in the world succeed. Out of those 95 that fail, okay, almost 80% of them fail because they didn't get funding. Don't be in those 80% by dancing in front of every investor. Find that one investor or 5 investors and try and put out them. Got it? Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? No? Are we good on time? Are we done? Time up? Okay, time up. Right, so thank you everyone. I believe you have pictures tomorrow. Some of you have pictures tomorrow. So, right? I follow my marketing team. I generally don't do this. Don't promote funding stuff. I will try my best. Please follow, like, subscribe. Hit the bell button. There's no bell button on Instagram, but please, if you find a bell, hit it. Right? Please do that. And I wish you all the best. I hope you guys are successful. India and the world definitely needs a lot of good entrepreneurs, a lot of problems, right? Thank you everyone. Take care. Thank you.
I request you, Mr. Valu, to accept the memento as a token.
Thank you.
As we thought of close on today's panel discussion, I want to extend my gratitude to everyone who sharing their insights and perspective on decoding business needs. You have brought a unique perspective to the table and reaching our understanding of the subject matter. Thank you once again to our panelists and audience members. Thank you for coming. Now during the mentoring session, all the participants will visit the first floor. The details will be shared to your WhatsApp group. It will start at 5:30 p.m. Thank you.
పైన మళ్ళా ఇక్కడ